Good evening everyone, it is me VFX. You're welcome to my channel where I teach how to trade boom and crash and volatility. Initially I was only teaching how to trade boom and crash and volatility with indicators, but this time I'll be teaching price action strategy and some strong indicators. And these are the strong indicators which I use alongside with price action strategy: fractals, moving average, another moving average, and relative stretch index. So in this video I will explain how to use them and what I use them for. Okay, I will explain how I use them and what I use them for one by one. So let me start from relative stretch index. So this relative stretch index is I use it for so many things. I use it to determine the strength of the market. Okay, I use it also to know the exact condition of the chart. I use it to confirm entries. So I will explain these things later, not now, not in this video. Just want to explain what I use them for, what I use each of the indicators for. Then later I will explain how I use them. Okay, so this relative strength index, now I use it to confirm entries. Like I draw trend line on this RSI. Okay, so basically I use it for confirmation of entry. After doing my analysis on the main chart, then I will check the RSI, draw some trend line, and know what to do. Then another indicator is the moving average. These two moving average indicators, I use it for support and resistance. Okay, support and resistance. Some support and resistance that I cannot use trend line to join. Then I will use these indicators to determine the next point of resistance and support. So when the market is downtrend, these indicators serve as resistance, and when it is uptrend, these indicators serve as support. Okay, they serve as support. So this is what I use this moving average for. Then the fractal, this fractal, I use it for as confirmation, the last confirmation before I enter trade. After doing the analysis on main chart and RSI, before I enter any trade, the last support or resistance, I must wait for the fractal to form before entering trade. I must wait before I enter trade. I must wait for the fractal to form before entry trade. And as you can see here, this fractal formed before I enter this trade. So like I said in my previous video, price action strategy is a complex strategy that comprises divergence signal, use of trend line, trend, chart pattern, and candlestick pattern. So I will be teaching it episode by episode. And like I said in my previous video, this strategy helps you to know what I call philosophy of market chart, which is knowing what the market chart has done and what it is doing. With these two things, you will surely be able to know what the market chart will do next. For instance, let me explain the analysis I did before entering this trade. Okay, let me explain the analysis I did before entering this trade. Okay, there are three time frames that I use, which are daily time frame, 4-hour time frame, and 1-hour time frame. Then I use daily time frame to check the trend of the market. Then I use 4-hour time frame and 1-hour time frame to enter trade, to to consider entry trades. So I don't enter trade on daily time frame. I use 1 hour and 4 hour to consider my trade entries. Then first thing I do whenever I open each chart I open, first thing I do is to go to daily time frame. So to know what the market has done. So knowing what the market has done and what the market is doing will help you to know what the market will do next. Then first thing to do when you open a chart is to know what the market has done. Then after that, then you try to know what the market is doing. When you fail to know these two things, then it is not safe to trade. Anytime you open your chart and after doing your analysis and you can't know these two things, then don't try. Even if you see any entry, don't try enter trade. It is not safe at all. So, and here now, this is downtrend. At the daily time frame, from here to here is downtrend. So, and in a downtrend or uptrend, there are only two movements, which are impulsive movement and retracement movement. And on a daily time frame, impulsive movement can be in another trend form in a lower time frame, like this movement now. So from here to here is if you go to 4 hour time frame or 1 hour time frame, it might be in a uptrend form. So what I'm trying to say is that if you see that the market is downtrend on daily time frame, don't consider only sell trade. You can also buy, unless you are trading long-term trades. If it is intraday trading you are trading, don't consider only sell trade. You can sell and buy. Just follow the current direction of the market. If the market is forming impulsive movement, you follow that direction. If it is forming retracement movement, you follow that direction too. So here now, I know the market is downtrend. Then next thing I will do is to know what the market is forming. Is it impulsive movement or retracement movement? And in a downtrend, downward movement is impulsive, and upward movement is retracement. In an uptrend, upward movement is impulsive movement, and downward movement is retracement movement. So let me now zoom and know what the market is doing, which movement it is forming. This market is forming retracement movement, which is upward movement. So you can consider buy. What have I known now? I've determined the trend of the market, the current trend of the market. Like I said, in daily time frame, impulsive movement can be in form of uptrend in a lower time frame. So if I go to 4 hour time frame, this movement, this impulsive movement, retracement movement, because it is downtrend, will possibly be in a trend form, in an uptrend form. So let me now check. You see, it is forming uptrend. It is in uptrend form. So that's the point I was trying to make. So you can buy and sell when the market is downtrend or uptrend in a daily time frame. So like I said, I use daily to determine the trend, the current trend of the market and the overall trend of the market. The overall trend of the market is downtrend, but the current trend of the market is uptrend. So I have achieved one thing, which is knowing the current trend of the market. And each time you are trading, make sure you are following the trend of the market, the current trend of the market, depending on the kind of trading method you are doing. If it is intraday, you follow that the same way. Okay. Then next thing is to check when and where to enter trade. Okay. You can draw trend line here to know you can join the supports and the resistance of the overall trend. This one is overall trend on daily time frame. So this is what I did before entering the trade. So you join. Then next one is to join this second one with this third one that the first line did not touch. Then I finished drawing the trend line on daily time frame. Then another one is to draw trend line of hour time frame. So drawing trend line is you join the if you want to join resistance, you join the highest point of resistance. Then if you want to join the support, you join the lowest point of support. Okay. Then on 4 hour time frame, I've then I've determined the trend of the market. The overall trend is downtrend, but the current trend is uptrend. Then the next thing to know, to determine, is the last breakout. Once you know the last breakout, then you'll be able to determine what the market is doing. I'm still considering, I'm still trying to know what the market has done. Then that's the last breakout. After knowing the last breakout, then you have known everything the market has done. Then the next thing is to know what the market is doing, and with these two things you will be able to determine what the market will do next. Then now let me check the last breakout on 4 hour time frame. On daily time frame, there is no breakout in this downtrend. It is still downtrend. There is no breakout yet. Then let me go to 4 hour to check the last breakout on the current trend of the market. Okay, here the current trend of the market is just started forming. It just finished forming the first impulsive movement and the first retracement movement. It is now forming the second impulsive movement. Then, which means resistance breakout must have occurred in the previous current in the previous trend. This one is not overall trend, but the previous trend, which is this one. From here to here is the previous trend. So this trend line I'm drawing now is to know the point of breakout. So this is the last breakout. So now the next thing is to know what the market is doing, and from what I am seeing, the market is forming uptrend, and the movement it is forming now is impulsive movement. it is forming impulsive movement. So I've known what the market has done and what the market is doing. Then you follow the direction, you follow up the the action of the market currently. So the market is forming impulsive movement. The next thing to do is to check other things, to consider, to check other indicators, so that if you are entering at the perfect time and at the perfect point. So, and like I said, the last confirmation is the factor. The last confirmation is factor. So I entered this trade immediately after this factor formed. So that's the last confirmation. Then after entering trade, if you enter trade, you put your stop loss below. If it is buy trade, you put your stop loss below the support, and if it is that sell trade, you put your stop loss above the resistance. So the next thing to do is to determine the take profit, because this is a long trade. So to say the take profit, and see, these two indicators, trend line. I drew this trend line on daily time frame, which means the resistance this trend line is representing is a strong trend line that formed on daily time frame. So this is not a 4-hour support and resistance. So any resistance you see along this trend line is a strong one, which means if this chart gets to this point, the possibility of crossing that line is very low. It's very small. The possibility of crossing that line is very small. Then with divergent signal, you can know if the chart will cross the line or not, but I will not go into that now. I just explained the indicators I use alongside with price action strategy. Then I'm giving a stance on this philosophy that the price action helps you to know. Then now I have finished my analysis. So the final thing is just to modify my trade, and that's all. To modify my trade. So this is how to know the intercept point of the chart and the trend line, the resistance trend line. So I'll just put my take profit here. This is where I will put my take profit. So I hope you understand what I explained. Everything